The reason we do it isn't for the money. It's so that we can make people say, wow, my car looks really good in that. I didn't know my wheels could look like that. Behind the camera, behind a screen, sometimes things don't always look right. But when you give it to someone who has the right skills, they can turn it into something awesome. I'm Zach. I run Connecticut Content Creators, and this is my story.
Being a photographer is more than just capturing an image. It's about seeing culture as it moves. And for Zach, that culture lives in cars. I'm your host, Brandon Held, and this is What Is Your Story? The docuseries where the artist takes control of the narrative. In today's episode, we'll be exploring the world of car photography. Let's see how Zach's journey started.
When I was a kid, before I was who I am now, I was exploring. That's the one word I'd use to describe myself when I was a kid. I was always the guy who was picking up things that I shouldn't be picking up, like just ripping people's flowers out because I wanted to look at them. Cars weren't even really an interest for me. It was kind of, I just want to learn about the world and know what's inside of everything. So I got into the art of photography when I was 14. Immediately, I started messing around with the LED lights that I had in my room at 14 years old. I was like, oh, how does this work? This makes this look brighter. You know, if I click and drag, does it look cooler? And I apparently got quite a lot of attention in my photography class, and I started doing it as more than a class and just as a hobby. And I went outside for that class and started taking pictures of the cars that were passing by. The pictures that I took were absolutely terrible, but I got started by photography class in high school, and eventually I decided, you know what, sometime during college there were these car meets, and I said, why don't I try this again? Picked up my camera after 4 more years and kind of started rejuvenating it, doing different shots, doing different styles, and then it grew and it grew and it was exponential. Now we're here. It started by me saying, okay, I'm out of college, what do I do? Do I make a car club? Do I start a group of people? Or do I just go to my job every day, go home and go to sleep? And so I said, why don't I make a car club, but not a car club, a photographer club. I said, why don't we brand it? And I called it Connecticut Content Creators. And I said, I and my crew are gonna be the one-stop shop for creativity. You know, you want us to capture something, you wanna capture how you're feeling, you want us to start you from where I started and bring you up to where I am now, or you want us to help you start your own kind of photographer group. Come to us. There's a lot of clubs out there. I love them all and they all have their purpose, but some of them are clubs for the purpose of being clubs. They just want to make the money. For me, I want to make the art, and we want to make the art. Our thing is that we are a photographer club, which I haven't seen on the East Coast, and I didn't know about it existing before I started making it. So that's our purpose. That's how we got started, why we do what we do.
The art that I do is visual. The thought process with shooting a car show would 100% be, what is the best summary? How can I best show someone what an event was? If you ask the question, what'd you guys do? Who was there? What'd you see? And what happened? You want to be able to answer that in a visual form. If someone says, what happened? Which is a very general question. What are you showing?
Today's event takes place at Quinnipiac University's York Hill campus and is hosted annually by the Quinnipiac Car Club. This event is more than just a showcase of vehicles. It's a celebration of passion, community, and creative expression. Zach was the former president of one of the largest student organizations here. Together, their team turns a shared passion for cars into an experience where automotive culture and artistry come together seamlessly. Now let's hear directly from some of the members of Zach's crew who capture the magic behind events like these.
long story short, I met this guy through one of my car friends. This is Tassine, and he has, follow him on Instagram, 256.rgb.
That's me.
We run CT Content Creators together. And long story short, a couple years ago, we met this guy named Zak. And Zak has a cool car, and we were taking pictures of that car. And I said, hey, this guy's a pretty good photographer. And so what I next said was, okay, I graduated, I'm bored, what do I do? Start a photographer club. And from his work and from who he was as a person, I reached out and I was like, we should probably start something and we should make this into a name brand. And he's like, you know what?
That's a good idea.
Good idea. Yeah, exactly.
It's been what, like 5 years, 6, 7 years we've known each other?
7 years since we've known each other, 3 years since we started the crew, 2 years since I was like, you know what, we should make a website. They're doing this show for the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. I think it's 50% is going to them. From what I see out here, that's going to be quite a lot of money, so.
It's really nice to be able to give back to the community and create an environment where, like when I started taking pictures, there wasn't any sort of collective of people where I could learn from, where I could share information that I've learned, and it's really great to be able to give back and, you know, teach a bunch of these guys that are starting out, you know, how the world works like this. You know, as you take pictures, you'll meet people, and as you meet people, the connections and the opportunities just grow from there. So just go outside, bring a camera, and, you know, see where the world takes you.
You just got to go do it. There's nothing that beats just going out, taking pictures, posting them, see what happens, see who comes to you, and then see where it goes from there. This is my friend Jameson. We're both photographers, and we also all the time take pictures of this guy. Long story short, we both started pretty small, took pictures for a couple years, and then we ended up here, somehow.
I joined post-COVID, started off pretty small as well, and, you know, with this group, you know, it pretty much helped me and other people in the group, you know, gain a following, gain an audience, and overall, you know, with that, gaining experience with the camera and hopefully, you know, getting to our goals of what we want. I started out really young, just taking photos of cars just with my phone, going to events wherever around the state, just taking photos with my phone. Photos. It doesn't even have to be about cars. It could be wildlife, anything. I've always been told that I had a decent eye for certain things, and that made me want to like further advance, you know, my photo taking skills. So I started off with a basic camera, going to events, networking, just, you know, meeting people, you know, getting to know people, shooting people's cars, and from there on, you know, through practice and just experience, you know, just building what I know, building my craft, and getting to where I am now. The big thing is, you know, a lot of people, especially in this community, they like to gatekeep a lot of things. They like to gatekeep spots, cars, networking things, editing skills, all that. You know, as a part of CT Content Creators, as a part of this group, we like to share the wealth. We like to share our expertise, see what we like, see what we don't like, and then build on from there.
All right, now I'm going to introduce you guys to my parents. You guys meet my parents already?
My name is Aaron. I'm Zach's dad. I've known him for a long time, 25 years. I think Zach brought us into the car community, starting with his first RC car, which was around 3.5 or 4. He had basically mostly just learned to walk. And, as he got older, through middle school and high school, he went from bigger RCs to bigger RCs, I think to 5th scale RCs. And then he finally got himself, with a little help from his parents, his first car. And he's been crazy passionate about it ever since. We are enthusiastic about it. We're our own car family. Everybody in our house is into cars. We're very proud of him. He's sort of taken it to the nth degree. It's a great example of somebody pursuing their passion and having a good time and making some money from it.
We've been involved with cars really from the earliest of days, from Legos to Minecraft to remote control cars to actual cars. So we learn a lot and we get to be a part of this community, which is really awesome.
So the team I assembled, to me, they all mean this is as much talent as we can get in one place in Connecticut. These are the group of Connecticut photographers who are interested in helping one another, helping newer photographers out there, making communities, making groups, giving advice, hosting car shows, doing things nobody's done before. But that's the community. You know, we do merch, we do shows, and to me, these guys also mean the world. But to say this group of 34 people are the people who want to help each other out in Connecticut, as opposed to just being solo. That is Connecticut Content Creators. It gets stressful, but then you got to remind yourself, are my standards the same as other people's? So most people take pictures with their iPhones, and you got to realize that when you send them a picture with a camera, most of the time it's automatically going to be better than that. And they're already going to say, wow, you made my car look so good. And internally you're saying, wow, this picture sucks. I mean, the exposure, the cropping, etc. Wow, I noticed that and I don't like it. But most likely the person on the receiving end of that picture is already going to think it's the best thing they've ever seen. So that is 100% the way you deal with it. Is remind yourself, the standards you have, are they really the standards everyone else does? Best experience I've ever had at a car show was also the worst experience I've ever had at a car show. So the best experience I ever had, 100% hosting the 2022 Quinnipiac Car Show. So that was the biggest event that's ever happened on York Hill. And I say that because we over-invited by about 2,000 people. We had about 900 spots. We ended up getting about 1,600 cars coming up York Hill, filling up the garage, filling up the whole parking lot. It was an amazing time because, I've seen half these people before. I haven't seen half of them before. I got so many pictures that are probably never going to happen again. Made, $10,000 for charity, was able to donate that all. Just was able to say that I filled York Hill and for one day filled the entire town of Hamden with a bunch of sports cars. But the bad things that came out of it are the people who complained, rightfully so, that there's too much traffic, we can't get up the hill, you guys are so incompetent. The things that people do on social media, of course, I'm sure you guys have seen it, the haters. The people who said, yeah, you guys have no idea how to run an event, I'm never coming again. Quinnipiac Facilities, rightfully so, said to us, this is ridiculous, you gotta shut it down, and we're never letting you guys do an event this size ever again. The good part was the achievements that came out of it and the money that came out of it to charity, but the bad part was probably the reception on social media for the people who didn't get into the show. So that wasn't so fun. Every time else that I've been to a car show or hosted a car show, I know what I'm doing now because of that day, because I know what not to do, and now we avoid the whole, repercussions thing. Honestly, being able to donate that much money to a charity to me means I should have a lot of faith in my community, because not everyone will pay $20 to get into a car show or pay, $50 for VIP, but they will if it means for it's a good cause. So to me, that was proof that a lot of people, more people than I thought, are willing to donate that much money and spend it just to park in a parking lot and stand around for 6 hours. And they were all willing to do that because of charity.
Between the builds, the cameras, and a not-so-quiet competition for the loudest car of the day, there's one thing that's clear. This is more than a car show. It's a community built on passion, noise, and purpose.
Car show day was pretty excellent, mostly because I saw all my guys, all my photographers, all my artists out here. I got to bring my camera here, take a bunch of pictures, and just put it away when I didn't want to take any. So, had a lot of good practice taking motion shots, taking people shots, also taking pictures of this duck and a guy with a snake, which is a little weird, but okay. A lot of dogs and cars, just a lot of practice on the things I don't normally get to do. None of this is a private shoot, it's all a public event, and so I got a lot of good practice just getting out there and doing subjects that I don't really take pictures of ever. So it was a good day. It was a super busy car show. It was very well organized. It was also even more better because my girlfriend hosted this event and I got to see just how many people respect her and what she does. So that was always a good thing. This whole entire event was also to give to people in need. So half the profit, the proceeds are going to that. I would just say this was a success. Hopefully you guys can keep this going. Keep doing what you're doing. That's my message. They ended up giving out trophies at the show. I didn't win Best JDM, but that's okay. I did end up getting Best Club, which is always a good thing. That was for the Connecticut Content Creators. Always a good thing to see that people recognize us and what we do. We had a lot of guys pulling up out here today, a lot of photographers and members from our crew, and we ended up winning Best Club. And it's very shiny, so always a good thing.
If young Zach was right next to you right now, what advice would you give him?
I like that question. So if young Zach was right next to me and I had to give him one piece of advice, it'd probably be don't change a thing, because he likes where he ended up. He likes what he's doing, the people he knows, and the trophies he's winning, and the cars he's driving. I would just say don't do anything differently. Don't try to change your path, because the one you're on is going to work out pretty well.